This is not where y'all are supposed to be, ladies. I guess we'll deal with y'all in a second. And you're not where you're supposed to be either. What is going on today? Well, how about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. As you saw just a second ago, our 2 big pigs are out and one of our small pigs are out. So obviously the fence is shorted out somewhere, and it's probably right there at that mound of dirt. They've got it over the top of the wire. If I had to guess, that's our problem. But the pigs aren't the only problem I've had this afternoon. I was trying to get all my materials together to put a conveyor belt over the front of our pig feeder so the feed's not getting wet and getting caked up whenever we're getting some rain like we've been experiencing. And I can't find any of the tools. All my tools I've taken to my house in town, and been working on some projects around the house there. All my brother's and my dad's tools can't seem to find. So my parents are actually getting floors put in their house this week. I'm using the contractor's drill. So I think he's about close to being done for the day. So I'm gonna hurry up and get this conveyor belt put on the front of our pig feeder. I'm gonna set the camera up kind of out of the way so the pigs don't mess with it. But basically what I have is an old, it's about a 12-inch conveyor belt that's basically trash. It's been sitting in the edge of the barn at work for a long time. We're gonna put this on the front of that pig feeder. Part of the tools that I couldn't find was a bit for some self-tapping screws that I had, so I'm gonna try to use some sheet metal screws. I don't know if they're gonna poke through this metal, so this might be a whole bust altogether, and we might just be wrangling pigs this afternoon. But let me get started. I'm gonna set the camera up and see if we can get this conveyor belt on, and hopefully I don't have to worry about the rain caking up our feed anymore. So here's the problem that we've been having. Basically, you can see in the corner right here, I don't know if you can tell, that's feed caked up. It's over here in this corner as well. Feeder's empty now, but we're gonna go ahead and screw in our conveyor belt across here, covering this area. The pigs can lift up that conveyor belt and get in there. At least that's the plan. All right, so I've already got my conveyor belt cut. It's a little bit longer than what we need. We might have to come back and cut it again later on. But let's see if these these sheet metal screws will actually go through this first. Nope. It'd help if I had the right bit. I'm just spinning. Wrong tool for the job. Just stripping those heads. God almighty. Well, lucked out. Actually, the head of the impact's the same size, and it does work. Improvise, I guess. All right, so that's about the level we're gonna put our mat. Let's go ahead and put one in. Now we're gonna load this thing up with screws. I've done this before. I've put one on here, and I didn't put nearly enough screws in it. The pig just ripped it off pretty much. Maybe they won't rip that one off. As you can see, they can put their nose under here, lift it up, get a bite to eat, get the bellies full, and go on about their way. Let's see if we can cut some of this off. We're gonna catch these two big pigs, put them back where they're supposed to be first, and then we'll get this feeder filled up, and we'll see how the pigs use it, if they can get in there or not. First, I'm gonna go return this to the contractor, get my fence tester, because obviously we've got some electric fence problems this afternoon. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Well, that right there is where my big pigs got out, apparently. Just need to put that gate back up and secure it a little bit better. But I'm assuming that fence is not hot. That young pig crossed over the fence and got in here with the big pigs, and that's where they got out. I love having pigs, but pigs can be aggravating. Come on, let's go back home. Come on. Oh, get him, Rivers. These two girls right here are gonna be some tasty pork chops in about a week. Come on. Come on. Rivers, come here. Come here.
Go straight up the fence line, back into your pen. There, come here. Come on. It's way too wet for y'all to be
out here. What pigs will do to a wet pasture.
Let's go. Straight.
Don't turn, let's go. Go in that corner. Go in your pen. There you go. Keep going. Rivers, come here. Hey. There you go. Welcome back home. So I mentioned this a couple videos back. One thing I'd kind of change about this system is our gates. I like having the physical gate at the end of the pasture in case something happens to the electrical wire. But these pigs, they get to where they respect that wire so much. I say that, one of the little ones got out. So they get where they respect this wire so much that they won't even mess with it. With these physical gates, they rub on them, they push on them. They realize that they're not hot, so as they're pushing and scratching and whatnot, you don't have them pretty secure, as we just saw. They can push them over and go on about their business. Where we're at in that right now and kind of what we're doing for our setup right now, it's not a huge deal. We can just put them back up. But if we're running pigs on a piece of property with our 2-strand electric fence and they decide to get out and we don't have a good perimeter fence around it, it can be an issue real quickly. Pigs, I know that looks easy pushing them back up here, but they've done that a couple times. They know where they're going. Pigs are not easy to herd at all. Making a pig do something that it doesn't want to do is almost an impossible task at times. But that's back to where it needs to be. I can actually hear the fence popping right here on this brace. So our gate's back up, ready to go. It's pretty stout. I don't think they're gonna push that back over. But I did hear our fence hitting right here, so I know we got power up here. It's touching this metal post right here, and whenever I was kind of setting that gate up to push the pigs back up, I could hear a little bit of popping right here. This little spool of wire that I need to clean up was popping as well. I've already kind of pushed the dirt off in that bad spot over there, so maybe we got power back. We're gonna see if we can get this one pig back where it's supposed to be, fill up the feeder, and then I'll go get my meter and see how much power we've got and see if we need to clean this line up a little bit more. Fun afternoon with pigs. Pigs are a joy. Most of the time I like watching pigs, but when it comes time to manage pigs, get a little difficult at times. So I wouldn't typically do this, but I'm gonna try to push this pig back across that wire. I don't want to open the gate and all the other pigs get over here. I just think that would be a nightmare. So we're just gonna see if we can push them on the other side. And this little pig right here is one of the escape artists anyways. He has been in trouble since he got here. He just went over the wire, so I'm gonna walk this, kind of run my boot underneath this bottom wire, make sure nothing's touching it, all the way around, fill up their feeder, see if they can use that flap or not, and we'll test out the fence. So I got all of our fence walked for the most part. There's not really much touching it anymore, maybe a couple twigs here and there. Should have juice on it. We're gonna go get our fence tester here in just a minute, but first we're gonna top off this feed, and then we'll go get our tester and see what kind of juice we're throwing. I really would like to get one of those lights to hang on the fence where I can just look, visually see we've got power, shouldn't have to worry about it. But those things are pretty expensive. But let's get this feeder topped off and be about it for the day. So we got the feeder filled up. They've already pretty much figured out that flap. A couple of them's taking a little bit longer, but I just saw one of them with their head in there eating. They'll get it all figured out here shortly. There's one that's got it up now. But this guy back here in the back, kind of pacing the fence, he was just up there at the top. That's the one that got out. That's our troublemaker. I know the fence is working because he just got popped, so I don't have to test it today. We know it's working. We'll go ahead and feed up our two larger pigs, and that'll be it for the pig chores. I've already done all the other chores for the day before I got started on this, so get them fed up real quick and we'll wrap up the video. So these two girls have about another week and a half on the farm. We're going to be processing not this coming weekend, but the next. And I've kind of dialed back their feed a good bit. Number one, they're wasting a bunch of feed, if you can see it on the ground. And that feeder that I got needs to be raised up. That's part of the problem. But another thing is, these will be the two biggest pigs I've ever processed. This one over here, I'm gonna say is probably 350. This one's not far behind her. I'm gonna say she's probably in the 325 area. So the biggest pigs I've ever processed. So I've kind of slowed them down on the feed. I've just been giving them about 4 of these little metal buckets a day, where I was giving them about a 5-gallon bucket a piece a day. So they're getting cut back a little bit. I know a week ain't gonna make much of a difference, but it's big old girls. Well, that's about it for me here at the farm this afternoon. I'm about to head home and get on the honey to-do list. We've been doing a couple things around the farm, the house. For those that are new to the channel, me and my wife just purchased a house in town. We've got a little one on the way, so we're trying to get the house in order before the baby gets here. This past weekend, we put together the nursery. It's almost ready. Got a couple more things to do in there, put together a chair, crib, and all that stuff. Been doing a couple small projects around the house. I'm trying to get my garage nice and organized where I can hang all my tools up and everything. And then we're going to start doing some different things inside the house. So that's been taking a lot of my time. Between that, these animals, work, videos and stuff like that, I don't have much time for anything. So I'm running around like crazy. Like this afternoon, whenever we're getting started, it was a hassle getting all my tools together because, like I said, half of my tools are in town. Can't find half of my dad or my brother's tools. So sometimes trying to get ready to do something out here, or even in town when I need something that's out here, it's been a struggle lately, but we got it done. Was planning on doing a couple different things in the video today. I was planning on, getting our feeder right, but I was also planning on making a trip and going and check on the does and taking them another bale of hay. But I guess I'll do that tomorrow afternoon. A lot of times whenever I decide I'm gonna make a video, I make it, I post 2 videos a week, so 2 days a week I'm making a video some point or another. And a lot of times I have a general idea in my head of what I want to record and all that, but a lot of times I just don't know. And like this afternoon, those pigs were out and electric fence wasn't working. We still had this to do. So a lot of times our videos go in a complete different direction than what I was planning. This afternoon was one of those afternoons. But we were able to get our big pigs put back in the pen, got our little pig back where he's supposed to be, got our fence back hot, got this conveyor belt on the front of this feeder, hopefully going to keep the moisture out, and hopefully that feed's not going to get compacted in there anymore, and we're not going to have to bust it up. I really need to have these pigs to have full access to feed. They're about at that 100 to 120 pound mark right now. I really need to get them to about 200 to 250 before the end of April. Our guy that's going to be purchasing our pigs this year, he wants them about that 250 mark, and he wants them at the end of April. So I've got to make sure these guys keep feed on them, keep them eating, keep them growing. So they're growing pretty well right now, so I can't complain too much. We just need to make sure that feed doesn't get clogged up for 8 hours at a time. That's a lot of feed that they could have been consuming, weight they could have been putting on. But like I said, that's about all I have for you this afternoon. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or anything like that, just drop them in the comments. We really like communicating with you. If you have any questions especially, leave them in the comments. I'd love to do a Q&A one day where either myself or me and Maddie both can sit down and answer some questions. So if you have any questions about the farm, about anything we're doing, about the animals, your animals, us, anything like that, just leave them in the comments. We'd love to answer those. Maybe one day we can start a list, and one day we can sit down and make that video. But until then, I really appreciate you hanging out with us. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, and we'll see y'all on the next one.